What purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I seek recognition because I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will report the amendment.
Amendment offered by Mr. Cohen of Tennessee, page 22, line 5.
I ask unanimous consent that that amendment be considered as read.
Is there objection?
Without objection, the reading is dispensed with. Objection is heard.
The clerk will continue to read.
Page 22, line 5, after the dollar amount, insert increase by $50 million. Page 29, line 21, after
May I
the
ask
dollar
again
amount,
that we
insert
consider it
reduced
as
by
read? I
$50
think
million.
my friend from Colorado who shares my birth date didn't understand what was going on. He didn't want to listen to this. Nobody wants to listen to this.
The gentleman from Tennessee is recognized for
Can I
5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Lambert. My amendment, which is worthy of being considered and passed, but not necessarily to be heard, would reappropriate $50 million from the weapons activities account to the renewable energy, energy reliability, and efficiency account. It's kind of a compromise about what we've been hearing. It doesn't take too much from nuclear. It gives some back to solar. It's a compromise where we work together. In this bill, the weapons activities account, which had been funded at $7.7 billion, that's more than $190 million over the President's request and over $95 million more than the account had in 2013. And to offset this increase, which the committee voted, the committee decided to do so by funding the renewable energy, energy reliability and efficiency account at only $982 million, slashing that account by almost 50% in this budget. While ensuring the security of the United States is certainly very, very important, the consequences of ignoring climate change trends and data is resulting in a serious and ever-growing threat right here on our own soil. I know that the goal of everybody here in the House is energy independence, and it's a paramount concern to all of us. However, in order to achieve this goal, we must dedicate ourselves and our budget to the serious business of securing that energy future. Ensuring that our renewable energy research program is adequately funded is one of the most effective and climate-neutral ways to achieve this goal. For example, solar power is the most abundant energy resource available to the planet, and demand for solar power in the United States is at an all-time high. As solar prices continue to fall, Americans are reassessing their energy resources. Cutting funding to projects that make this clean energy even more affordable is not prudent and out of line with the priorities of clean energy-minded Americans. Renewable energy is secure and domestic, and energy-efficient programs not only result in greater resource supplies, but savings for families and businesses alike. According to the Alliance to Save Energy, the President's climate plan is double domestic energy production by utilizing methods like renewable energy could save the average family household more than $1,000 every year on energy bills. Investing in renewable energy will result in safer domestic energy, job creation in the clean energy sector, and lower heating and cooling bills across the country. For these reasons and others, and in the best interest of our nation's energy security, I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this amendment. I would ask you to spend money on finding research to see ways we can come up with renewable energies and improve the savings and save about the future, save it, and yet not cut too much from the nuclear program, which we already have funded higher than the President requested our last year. I would ask for a yes vote on this amendment, a compromise amendment, and yield the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back his time. Gentleman from New Jersey seek recognition.
Move to strike the last word and speak in opposition to the amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
The gentleman's amendment, as he said, would increase funding for this EERE account and by cutting weapons activities in the NNSA administration, as using that as an offset. Our bill not only cuts the renewable and energy efficient energy accounts, it also cuts fossil energy by 84 million, 16%, nuclear energy by 14%. As I said earlier, Mr. Chairman, our allocation made for some tough choices. We placed the highest priority in activities which the federal government must take the lead. One of those, of course, the most critical mass is assuring funding for national security. It's our highest priority. While I support the programs that he outlines, we should not divert to programs from national security. Therefore, I oppose his amendment and ask members to do so as well. Yield back.
Gentleman, back his time. Questions on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Tennessee. Colorado seek recognition.
Mr. Chairman, I rise in opposition to this amendment also.
Does the gentleman rise and or strike the last word?
I move to strike the last word.
Then the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I object to where this money is being cut. The amendment would take another $50 million away from already low amounts for modernizing our nuclear stockpile. The President agreed several years ago that he would modernize our nuclear stockpile in order to secure ratification of the New START treaty. Under that treaty, both Russian and U.S. forces are being reduced. But we have to modernize the force so that we maintain a credible deterrent with the remaining weapons after the reductions take place. The President is not fully funding that obligation. That's troubling enough. This committee has lowered what the President recommended to an even lower level, and that's even more troubling. And if we take this amendment for a further reduction, we're really getting into serious cuts. The trouble with not modernizing our nuclear capability is that we will no longer have an effective deterrent. These weapons degrade over time. They lose their effectiveness and reliability. And if we have allies who can't depend on our nuclear deterrent, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to go out and start their own nuclear programs. Countries like Korea and Japan, who are already talking about that, by the way. So unless you want more nuclear proliferation in the world, you want the U.S. to maintain a serious and credible deterrent and have an effective nuclear arsenal. So this amendment takes us in the wrong direction. So it's not good strategically for the United States. It's not a good savings of money, and I would urge strong rejection of this amendment. Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back his time. Gentlelady from Ohio seek recognition.
Yes, I move to strike the last word and yield time to the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Cohen.
Gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes. The gentleman from Tennessee.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We've had these discussions. We've got enough money in weapons, nuclear weapons, to destroy the world thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And I understand defense, but I also understand the future. And the future is energy self-reliance, and that comes from the sun. It's not going to be taken out of the earth. It's going to come from the solar energy that God has given us to harness and use for mankind. So the amendment, in my opinion, is a sound amendment in budgetary use, but even more so, and it's getting a little off the path. The reality is, the distinguished gentleman made remarks. He said, nothing's more important than our Defense Department. I submit to you that we're cutting $1.6 billion from the National Institute of Health, and that's my Defense Department and your Defense Department and everybody else's Defense Department, because cancer and heart disease and stroke and diabetes and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and AIDS, that's the enemy that's going to get each one of us, and we're cutting $1.6 billion from NIH, which is our Defense Department. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields back her time.
I yield back my time.
Question is now on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Tennessee. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to.
Mr.
Gentleman
Chair,
from Tennessee.
I would request a little ayes and noes and calling the roll.
Does the gentleman request a recorded vote?
And that's exactly right.
Pursuant to Clause 6 of Rule 18, further proceedings on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Tennessee will be postponed.